What's up, guys? Contrary to popular belief, I in fact have not died. I did not get hit by a subway train, nor have I died from eating Subway, at least not yet. You guys are stuck with me for a little while longer. Not too long ago, I flew out to New York and I met up with Charles Payne and spoke with Fox Business about the ape community, about AMC, about GameStop, about all the things that we're fighting for and talking about. And I think what I want to bring to you guys today is observations over opportunities. I want to be able to reflect on a lot of stimulation, right? There's a lot of things that have happened over the last 3 days, ups and downs and crazy stuff that I kind of want to reflect on. So I'm going to storytell a little bit. This isn't for you. Feel free to click off, but I feel like there's value that it added to my life, and you do with it what you'd like. So the first day I rolled in, it was Monday, and I was sitting there rolling up in my plane, and I landed. It was pretty early in the day, 9 or 10 or so. And I didn't really spend the most of the day just kind of roaming around New York City. And my hotel, they wouldn't let me in until I think it was about 3 o'clock Eastern. So I just kind of walked around, right? I checked out the city, and the best way that I could put it is just like overstimulation. For a guy like myself who people think is just coked up all the time, I'm an extrovert. I love that stuff. I love being surrounded by people. Like just the thought of hundreds of thousands of people walking around with their own individual lives, their own individual stories, problems, pains, successes, families, right? It's interesting to kind of conceptualize and try and get an idea of what's happening in the world around you. And I was enjoying it. I really liked it. That's an environment that I thoroughly enjoyed. And my favorite part of that Monday when I landed was getting to meet people, right? I'm a people guy. I like stories. I like hearing where people come from. And there was one individual in particular that stuck out to me. His name was Kelly. And Kelly, he met up with me at the Red Stairs by Times Square. I don't know what the fuck they're called. I said it was behind a green skyscraper. Was that not actually green, but that's beside the point. Nonetheless, he was telling me about where he came from, and he said that he came from a background of I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty details, and I'm not going to expose his name by any means, but some addiction problems, right? And he actually had just run the New York City Marathon, and it came up from that to where he is now. And in the same way, I've talked to people who maybe we're up and then they've come down and they're struggling and they just wanted to talk about some of their life problems. And it made me really think a lot going into Tuesday about all the different situations people are in, right? All the pains they're dealing with, all the struggles, all their successes, and ultimately the most important thing, which is the people, right? The people first. It's great to be able to connect faces to names on Twitter or names on YouTube, to handles, to people on Discord, whatever it is. It was just a really humanizing moment to be able to connect with people and honestly just shoot the shit. I'm really a pretty easygoing guy, so if you ever see me in public, feel free to talk. It's pretty smooth sailing. But Tuesday was the real day of reflection. That was when I was actually at Fox. I did get to meet Matt. That dude is thick. He is a damn boy. This is a thick boy. That's Matt to a T. He's got some weapons on him, man. Holy Toledo. But nonetheless, where the real reflection was for me is when I got into the studio. It's a pretty tall building. It's got a lot of floors. I don't know how many exactly, but I guess you're about 30 or 40 floors up. And you're looking out from the top of that building and kind of looking over New York City, and you see all the people down there living their own lives. And I kind of came to this realization that, not to group people into two classic groups because life is much more complex than that, but you really have sort of a diverse community within New York. You've got people that are just living their everyday lives, and the cost of living there is pretty high. It's a struggle, right? It's not an easy life to get by with unless you have the fortune or if you work your way up the ladder to get to a position like those people are in, for example, right? Where they're doing very well for themselves. And what I realized is Fox Business and that sort of job, that building is the same building. This is actually something I had a conversation with a friend about. It's the same building that the Lehman Brothers would use to try and pitch to people that everything was okay before the housing market crashed. It's the same building that people will use to try and shove stocks down your throat that end up tanking, going to nothing. I mean, it's obviously symbolic. There's other news sources and mainstream media that kind of contribute to things, but what that made me realize is that it's a tool. And the way that tool is utilized can either be for good or it can be for bad. It can be to help people or to steal from people, And being there and being able to feel the energy and the passion sort of, I wouldn't say reignited, but invigorated, right? Really brought to the surface was eye-opening for me. It really made me reflect a lot on the things that I've done over the last 6 months as a person trying to help with the community and bring good to people in the way that I think I can. And what I really would like to see different, and where I think a lot of problem lies, is where mainstream media and where some of these big alphas, so to speak, right, within the financial sector, and honestly just the United States and the world, right, this is the same thing across the board in a lot of things, is how that tool is utilized, right, the stuff they choose to push down your throats. And I really do believe that there's change that can be had there. And probably a good way to put this, I'm not intelligent enough to know this word up until literally a couple days ago. I was brought up in the conversation with my buddy, but zeitgeist, right? That's something that popped up really promising for me. It's the idea of you believe in whatever sort of culture and values are presented to you in any given time period. So like the culture and values of people in the 70s is far different than it is in the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, the 10s, the 20s, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Things change and they shift. And in that shift of the zeitgeist, so to speak, you can find growth for the positive or for the worse. And you kind of see that ebb and flow, the bull, the bear cycles through that process. But maybe it's just me being a naive kid that believes in, good for people and things changing. But I think we can do something like that. I think there's opportunity to really shift the way that media is pushed and the way that messages are received, and the power that they hold. And I'm seeing that happen now. And that's really what I've been reflecting on a lot, is how much things have changed just in the last year. I mean, I look on Twitter and YouTube and Reddit, and I just see the power that holds, that you got freaking hedge fucks shaking in their tidy whiteys in their offices on 40 floor skyscrapers, freaking out over a freaking plane that's flying a banner that said Ken Griffin lied. Cease and desist letters come out over that shit now. It's insane. And that is empowering stuff. And it really just made me reflect on that. And I'd say my greatest takeaway from all of that is observations are really important. It's important to reflect and think back on sort of moments and experiences that you have, so that you can learn from that and keep walking forward, And sometimes you walk backward. I've had those days where you walk backward and you feel like, what the hell am I doing? What did I spend my whole day on today? I don't feel like I added anything. And sometimes you feel like you took away from things. But ultimately, it is the people first. And I just want to see the people grow and succeed and be able to continue to grow the message, which is there's corruption, there's problems, there's obvious conflicts of interest. There's guys at the top that want nothing more than for you to fucking die. And I feel so much energy and passion around that's just what I want to pursue, After AMC and GameStop have run their courses and that is all said and done, my mission's not done. I'll tell you that right now. I really think that my purpose on earth is to sometimes at least, fight for problems that are laying right in front of people's faces. I feel like what I can bring to the table as a person, and thankfully I've had so many people out there that help me, and the community's freaking amazing. And I'm just rambling at this point, but I think the community, along with many others, that's where the power is being able to speak out about things that have been, shushed, kept quiet for a really long time. And that was my takeaway from New York. It like the things we talked about are huge, and it's things that the apes have been screaming, at the top of their lungs for months, almost a year. But beyond that, it was just invigorating, man. It was a good experience to be able to truly realize what's important. And it's that we just want a better life for our neighbors. We want to take care of our neighbors. And that's America. And I know it's beyond America, but I think the core of American values, what they should be, what the little guy, the core of, American values are, is love your neighbor, take care of yourself, right? Do what you can to help a community and make other people's lives better. That's what I think people are doing. And it gave me some ideas, and I'm going to try and work towards those and see what that looks like. But I guess I just wanted to share my own reflections. And if you pulled anything from that, that's cool. If not, all right, you enjoy your day, and hopefully you eat some Subway. If you don't like Subway, I don't know what to tell you. It's a pretty decent meal. You should try it out sometime. I'll catch you guys all later. I'm going to throw out some thoughts on earnings, on a lot of the stuff that's been happening within the AMC community tomorrow. But I don't know. I guess I wanted to talk, and those are my thoughts. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. Much love, late taps. Peace.